Jared McCain entered the year as one of the freshman class's most recognizable and also had some draft buzz, but over the course of the season he fully established himself as a first round pick with some big and consistent performances, and at times carried this Duke team offensively. At 6'3" in shoes with about an even wingspan, he's a smaller sharpshooting guard who has upside in the pick and roll and good feel as a connected passer and team defender. Questions about his ability to create advantages and be more of a distributor are present given his role this season, but as a bet on a contributor to fill a role next to stars, he checks a lot of boxes. Now, McCain is easily one of the elite shooters in this class and has an argument to be the very best. He shot 41% on nearly 6 threes a game and similar off the catch. He has textbook mechanics from the footwork to release. He gets it off quick and he did it consistently on high volume. In the half court, he primarily operated as a spot shooter and someone that played off of his teammates. He moved well into open spaces weak side on the pick and roll, and he also did a little work coming off of screens. Now, he wasn't the most efficient there, but he has the upside to be used more as a weapon in the NBA. He did some good work off of pin downs, flare looks, and got organized quickly running full speed, and I think he'll also have some more opportunities to be used as a screener. But he really shined in transition, as he was honestly one of the most dangerous shooters I've ever scouted, especially for a freshman. He shot 57% on 53 total attempts, and he led the nation with 30 makes here. He's got the confidence and the ability to shoot off the dribble and off the catch, whether it's heading into the corner or on the wing, and I would expect him to continue to be an asset here and make teams have to account for him in early and secondary offense. This is and has been his elite skill. He can heat up before you know it, and it's a big part of what he brings to the table.
Proctor gets it in, McCain fires and snaps in a three. McCain off the ball and Jalen Blakes is in for the first time. McCain, book it, a three. Nice.
By the way, how about the two-shot free throws? I mean, that was certainly on the floor. Got away with it.
Nice flare cut.
That's because they beat us most of the time.
Here's a three. And a turnover right back to Roach. Lining up a long one for this.
Bowen now 3 of 21 from beyond the arc on the season.
Duke looking for more.
Watch the open floor look.
McCain is a machine. So good.
After preaching to Roach, you are a terrific catch and release guys. McCain lets it fly.
This is how they do it, getting out in transition, pulling up from three.
Who has it taken away? Now it's Duke's turn to run. McCain.
Picked off by Duke. Nice give here from McCain. McCain stepping back. Drills it on a trip.
The same size we're used to playing, same Florida State play with either.
McCain again.
Now, there's also a lot to like from him as an off-ball scoring threat and some within the pick and roll. He's pretty good at using the ball screen this year at over 1 point per possession. He played with great pace and used his body well to shield off defenders, and he navigated his way through traffic, scoring at the rim, in the mid-range, and some from three as well. Now, we'll talk about his creation more later on because he doesn't necessarily have the burst or athletic gifts, especially at his size, that would point to great upside in this area. But when it comes to attacking closeouts, playing extremely well off of 2 feet, having strength and solid touch in the paint, he's got it. And for someone that will always likely be a shooting threat first and chased off the line, this is what you want to see, and it's how he's effective. He's probably not going to be super versatile in his handle, but limited dribble stuff off his shooting threat or his screen, he's at least capable.
You bodied up by Buchanan. And if you don't, you're playing 4 on 5 the whole night. Here's McCain, 54. I believe it's got to be McCain.
McCain penetrates. Yes.
Play of the Yellow Jackets. McCain off the screen.
Sticks it. An ACC play the Tigers do. Will it come down to that? Here's McCain.
They know what to do. They know how to play with one another.
McCain hits on a three.
4 seconds to get up a shot. He'll fire.
Duke is 6 of 11.
Gary only 6 made.
McCain, hot hand.
The seconds ticking away. McCain lays it in for...
And he's made that pay off for his coach.
McCain using it lightning quick. Second chance. It came to McCain. He's got a lot of
Pick up a cheap one early.
McCain will drive it right through Maxson.
Offensively. Again, sticking with that same 5 out of the timeout.
And he is kind of mumbling to himself, getting back on defense. McCain, just defender.
Kane, pretty move, and he went up.
Attacking on the dribble, and he will score.
early hoop.
Still within 3. McCain saved it. It was a shooting foul, by the way, just called late.
Well, that's why he's either has to drive or screen for people. Drop defense.
McCain loops it.
3 points and a sensational outing. Trying to add on to that right now. The floater for
Virginia does so well. We haven't seen him have a lot of success tonight with it. I think part of it's wow, McCain.
Now defensively, there are a couple things to talk about, obviously, with a smaller guard, but I was impressed by how he played as a team defender. I thought he got off to a bit of a rocky start early in the year, which is fairly normal, but as he got settled in, his ability to read plays, his positioning and feel for rotations was very good. Whether it was as simple as providing help with a nail or in a gap, playing some passing lanes, just being in the right position with his head on a swivel, or helping the helper and covering the big weak side, or Xing out on time and reading where he'd need to be on the floor, it was all stuff you could see him grasp and will be a big part of him ultimately contributing in the NBA. Now, there's always an adjustment to make it the next level, especially for someone who isn't the most physically gifted, but I do think he's the type of player that will be able to minimize mistakes and make plays and help pretty consistently. And a somewhat related piece to that is his rebounding. He's great there at his size. He had 6 games with double-digit boards. He's got a nose for the ball. He isn't afraid to go into the trees to secure it. And the way this team was constructed, they weren't going to have a very good chance to win if one of their smalls wasn't a positive asset here, and he was third on the team in rebounding behind Kyle Filipowski and Mark Mitchell, and I think that says a lot about him as a player.
Marsh came over to harass him. Miller slamming into the defender. That's an
On him. You can't wait for him to get to you.
Playing some really good basketball lately, averaging almost 15 a game his last season.
Tiara is in. Oh, the drop step. Burns can't get it to go.
Jeremy Roach is able to pick off his defender and get that shot easily.
Davis short on the floater. McCain is
the block that misses from
spent this year, talking a lot more in huddles.
Fast start. We know this James Madison team is very
9 already in this game. Halfway down.
Burns back in. Missed it. And rebounded.
Now the biggest question for McCain is just how much he's capable of as a creator, both for himself and others. For context, he almost exclusively played in 3-guard lineups, with all of Roach, Proctor, and Foster getting more lead ball handling responsibilities, partially because McCain is far and away the best shooter of that group, so the opportunity to see him play that role at this level wasn't there. But even dating back to high school, his ability to create advantages and separation has been in question. He's not the quickest, his handle is pretty basic, he likes to separate by getting into bodies and using his strength, which in some ways is fine, but it likely means he'll be better suited to play in that off-guard role and would limit the type of upside he may have overall. He's had enough moments, and you figure with how good his shot is, it could take him further than anticipated if he's given the opportunity, but I wouldn't expect a ton.
Reserve there, these guys are forced to play through it. I think that experience is going to pay dividends.
Filipowski found himself open, didn't shoot it. McCain, shot clock a factor now, down to 2.
It's been absolutely spectacular.
McCain. McCain again.
Mitchell, handoff, McCain. Under a minute to go in this first half. Back in, McCain.
McCain with 31. Little step back.
talk about Coach Ham and his great faith. Also the owner of a Christian record label.
Oh my goodness. McCain a step.
His playmaking and passing is the other piece of this. I have pretty much full confidence he's going to be great at all the connective stuff. He's unselfish, he has good anticipation, he can make one-mores, entry passes, he takes care of the ball, but everything else is more in question. Can he make consistent live dribble reads on the interior, on kickouts, skips? Can he control an offense for stretches at a time as a ball handler? That's all stuff that he's going to have to convince teams of in some capacity to fit in as many situations as possible. He did more on previous levels, and I don't think it's necessarily one of those like make or break skills for him to contribute, but given what he showed, it's a bit harder to project in this context.
Mike Young wearing a great suit tonight. Nice to see the suit.
Houston team #1 in the country, points allowed, 57.7 per game. Young pauses and shoots.
2 for 5 shooting. He's got it on the wing. He finds Filipowski for the quick strike.
Very good job defensively. Mitchell left wide open, misses the three.
McCain way outside. Proctor. He can't stick it.
Point. One freshman in the starting lineup for Duke. That's him with the ball. Jared McCain.
They got to drive him, I think.
McCain.
Nice pass.
McCain, he's got Filipowski wide open.
And here comes McCain. Roach from the wing. Count it.
Mitchell underneath. Eagles have 1 field goal in the last 6.5 minutes.
Now, as I mentioned before, I think he's going to be pretty good team-wise, and he always competes, which is important, but he isn't the quickest mover laterally, and with subpar length, he doesn't exactly bother people out on the perimeter. He had Roach and Proctor doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this role, but when he did match up with quicker guards looking to attack more often, the results weren't great with him giving up advantages and having inconsistent closeouts. Now, I don't think he'll be a complete liability here. He had enough moments, and despite his sort of TikTok reputation or whatever, he's tough and really does compete hard. He's also, again, one of the most functionally strong guards I've seen recently. He absorbed contact well and held up on switches, and I think that strength is an underrated element of being able to survive for a smaller guard. Overall, it's definitely a key area because if he isn't passable at the point of attack, it could get tougher at his size, especially if he's not someone that can run the show offensively.
Dunn with 10 to shoot. They need points. Dunn.
From beyond the arc. All right, getting out of the double. We'll see if Salas begins to heat up on the drive.
You can't leave him alone. Chet one-on-one with McCain. McCain considered going to Houston. Final 2 scores with Duke.
Tendency is to get past.
Johnson. Stop. You can't go too deep against Houston.
Pryor gets into the paint.
There's only 4 on the floor there. McCain figured 4 new guys. I must be coming out. He stays in. Right now, bodying the blockers.
10 to shoot.
Same thing.
Offense has run through Roberts, and he's not going to get away with that one.
Guard him in space.
Johnson with a tough catch. Banging with McCain.
Now on the offensive end, I think McCain will be that more natural connective piece or combo guard who bends defenses as a shooter and shot maker and can make a play. And there is a chance that he's able to run a little more offense as an initiator, probably in second units if he's on a good team. Defensively, he'll do a great job as a team guy. There will just be questions matchup-wise in his ability to guard like-sized players and how that ends up affecting the type of lineups that he can play in depending who his backcourt mate is, but that strength factor may allow him to guard some bigger off-ball threats on certain nights. I don't see a super high ceiling for him. I think he could be an above-average starter if things come together in the right spot. And on the lower end, I feel like he has a good shot at being a back-end rotation piece. For him, maxing out would be determined by where his creation goes, and a little dispelling some of those on-ball defensive concerns. He'll go anywhere from the late lottery to the early 20s, and I like all of Orlando, Philly, and Miami, and wouldn't mind Toronto if he was there at 19. Comparison-wise, I think we're looking at something like the best versions of Seth Curry or Gabe Vincent, but if he is able to do more as a playmaker eventually, it'll probably look a little different than what they've done, but somewhere in that realm would be the expectation, but he's still his own player at the end of the day.
Corner 3, moves inside the paint. Nice up and under fake. Oh, that's a...
Vincent, nice fake, sidestep, fires away.
Jared McCain is one of those players who just makes sense as a contributor. He shoots it, he's got good feel, he plays well off the ball, he's strong, and even with some of the concerns in his size or as more of a traditional table setter, he checks a lot of other boxes in a way that I think are hard to bet against at a certain point in this draft. You match that with what are pretty rave reviews about him as a worker and in his personality, and it's definitely someone worth betting on in the right spot.